Family, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. It's another beautiful day to be alive. Country's got a nice, beautiful heat wave, but it's all good. So I'll leave it at that. All right. So today's word of the day is needless. Stands for not needed or wished for something that is unnecessary. Main reason why chose this word today, it's a political season, presidential race, blah blah blah. So I don't care who you're voting for. I don't care if you're not voting. Um, but a lot of times people love to engage in needless conversations. And I always say that for me, if there's not being money being talked about and access to capital being talked about, because that's how one buys real estate and that's how one opens and grows a business, then what are we talking about? This is a beautiful country known as the United States of America, a capitalist society. All right. It's a system based off of winners and losers. And it has a system of you have a middle class. That's why a lot of people leave other parts of the world, aka third world countries, because there is no middle class. It's literally only rich and poor, and the rich are this much, and the poor are this much of the population. Um, so that's why a lot of times people. This is why it's becoming the norm for a lot of Americans. Like I said, people are becoming more as more rich people are becoming global citizens, a lot of regular everyday working people are becoming more global citizens because the heritage lineage goes back to a specific country, so they are dual citizens, and I don't see anything wrong with that at all. So they are dual citizens, and therefore they have two passports, and they can move more freely. I mean, that's why a lot of there's an article that's out there talking about how more and more of the well-to-do business elites of the Western world, not just the United States, but Canada and Europe and Australia, are gaining citizenships in a multitude of countries that they do business in for ease of movement, and to quote unquote have more rights as a citizen to operate within that country. And the same thing is happening for a lot of people who are opening up businesses in other foreign countries. And just don't get me wrong, America is still the greatest country on earth. So I'm not. If you think that's just where I'm going with this, I'm not. Um, but then you have a lot of people who are retiring in other foreign countries as well because their Social Security, their 401ks, individual retirement accounts known as IRA goes much further. So it's just as far as it would in America or certain parts of America, because there's still places, specifically small towns in America, where you can go to, and it's actually quiet, and it's actually well, not just quiet, but it's actually cheap. The cost of living is very cheap. Like if you want to retire in a state like Texas, I would highly advise. I'm not giving out financial advice, that you move to a place like El Paso or Waco or Amarillo, Texas, instead of moving to the big cities, or at San Antonio, Texas, and the surrounding areas. But I would not advise you move to Dallas, as this is just for regular working people, Dallas or Houston or Austin, because those have become the most expensive cities in Texas and the most expensive cities in the South because of the increase in population. When the demand goes up, the cost of living goes up. That's just the way the name of the game goes. So that's why you can still move to like the North and South Dakota. You can move to parts of Louisiana, excluding New Orleans. You can move to Mississippi and Alabama and still have reasonable cost of living because the population isn't as big, and the economies are decent, but they haven't changed and they haven't reached a max economic growing capacity as the major cities of Texas and Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina, things of that nature. So I leave it at that. But anyways, okay. So today's quote of the day is by Henry Ford from the company of Ford. He says, "When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it." I could not agree with that statement more. Times of adversity always shows our true colors, whether it's for good or for worse, for better or for worse. Like people when they take their marriage vows. But will you thrive? Are you just going to do your best to stay alive, or are you just going to fall back? There's moments when you need to fall back. There's moments when you just need to do what you got to do to stay alive. But there's always should be a moment inside here that says, I need to thrive. Because if I don't have this is why I got the fire emoji with me today. If I don't have a burning desire to do better, and if I'm not surrounded by people who have a burning desire to do better and think outside the box, then the chances of me not growing become less and less. So as the older I get, the less people I want to be around, because if the mindset If you're not on the same mindset of, hey, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to be an investor, I'm trying to travel, I'm trying to open up businesses, I'm trying to be around people who have that mindset, then it's already strike one with me. Then strike two, if you're not even elevated to that next level to where I can't learn from you and you don't want to learn from me, then what is really the point of us being around each other? Because we're wasting each other's time. So on that note, do the great things like share and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves, or you're going to live like a fool. Take care.